Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel Get Govind English Teacher. Today I have come before you with a wonderful topic that is how to learn a language. You know that language is dust of thought. So language is a device or is a means of communication, So how can we express your ideas or feelings and opinion? So without language, so we have to learn some language because language is very essential to live happy life in a society because man is social animal and conversative animal. Okay, so today I would like to express, uh, try to give some different definitions or different what we call the aspects how one can enrich, one can learn language, what are the language maybe. So there are, in the language, I have taken the word language. The language word has 8 letters. So each letter has its own importance learning a language. The first of all, let me write the complete words regarding the letter. The first letter is L. So in the learning a language, L. So L is, so first of all, L stands for listening. Listening. Then A stands for acquisition. Acquisition. N stands for need. Need. And now I'm coming to the letter G. G stands for grab the opportunity. Grab the opportunity. And U, here U stands for usage of words. Usage of words. And A stands for the attending meetings. Attending meetings. And G stands for grammatical knowledge. Grammatical knowledge. Knowledge. And E stands for environment. Environment. So these are the 8 important factors how one can learn a language. The first and foremost thing I have written the word here, the listening. So listening plays a pivotal role and a predominant role in learning a language. Without listening, we can't learn a language. But if you learn a language, you may not able to speak on the stage, speak on the dais with confidently, with effectively, efficiently, effortlessly. So merely listening, nothing will happen. You have to put into practice in the day-to-day work of life. Then only you will enrich the art of communication or language ability. So here, so what are the language you want to learn? First of all, you have to listen. Listening is very important. Then come to the acquisition. So here, acquisition means, so one can learn a language, but one cannot speak like a native speaker. Because if you want to speak like a native speaker, you should acquire the language. Because there is a difference between learning and acquisition. So far, we are attending the colleges or schools, or we are learning grammar, we are learning language, we are learning everything. So, but we know the language, we know about language, but we don't know the language. So about language means we know the language, the syntax, word, and everything. We know the what we call fundamental things of the language, but we can't learn, we can't speak because So acquisition is important. So acquisition means in a good environment, and where one can acquire, have to acquire. That means acquisition means so subconsciously we will learn something. So when you learn, so consciously learn something, but acquisition means subconsciously you will learn something. So the native speakers can learn a language, that means acquisition. So if you acquire a language that you can speak very easily, so that's reason we should acquire a language. So acquire means that's internalizing the information, and through the interaction, that's where is the acquisition is you have to interact what we call for interactions. No, that's it. So we need acquisition rather than learning. So if you learn, you can't speak effectively, effortlessly, okay, efficiently. But when you acquire a language, you can learn. You can learn like a native speaker. You can speak like a native speaker. That's the reason we have to acquire a language. Acquisition is important. Learning a language. Then come to need. So need is very important. You have to nurture your nature towards the need, because if you don't have any what we call the if you don't have the need, you can't learn. So the necessity is the mother of invention. So that's it. Then if you don't need, you will never learn. So that's it. Then the need is very important, because 10 years back I happened to go to Agra. That means I visited Taj Mahal, and where a small kid, and I think his age maybe 13 or 12 years, and he had never gone to school, he had never been to any institutions to learn something. But the kid, the 12 years kid, he speaks I think more than 12 languages like a native speaker, because of how he learned. How could he learn the language, all the 12 or 13 languages? Because of there is a need. So basing on the need, one can learn anything. That is so need is important. Without need, you can't learn a language. Then you can see the G for grab the opportunity. So we know the language, we know the grammar, vocabulary, the syntax, everything, all the things. But if you don't try to grab the opportunity whenever, whatever, whenever you have the opportunity, you have to try to flying into war of what we call flow, war of what we call fluency and speaking and communication. Then what will happen? And the language enhancements can be taken place very easily. So that's the we have to grab the opportunity whenever happen to just learning a language. Down now, for usage of words. So for example, many people, they know the vocabulary, they know the word, the meaning, the pronunciation, they know everything, but they don't like to use the words in a proper way, in a productive way, possible way, feasible way, in an apt way. So that's the reason when you use the words in an appropriate, best words in a best order. So according to, you have to sing the words in the situation. When you try to use the words in an effective way and in an accurate way, what will happen? When you use the words effectively, and automatically a language learning taking place, will be taking place. That's the reason I think. So usage of words are very important. Instead of learning, instead of memorizing the words, instead of knowing the meaning of the words, nothing will happen. So we have to use those words according to the situation. Then you will learn a language. Okay, attending meetings. So if you want to learn any language, it may be Hindi or Tamil, whatever it may be, just merely cramming information from the grammar, information from the books, and attending what we call classes regarding language, nothing will happen, because you have to try to attend the meetings where you can listen different types of accent, different types of dialects, different types of pronunciation. So that's just in that way, and you will learn so many what we call aspects of regarding language. So attending great meetings is very essential, necessary to learn a language and very easily. Next, G stands for grammatical knowledge here. So grammatical knowledge is very important to learn a language. But you can ask a question. So what about the people, the uneducated? Because as I told you, the kid who is speaking more than 13 languages. Because so when you acquaintance with the language, what will happen? So when you are happy to talk everything, in a language, so whatever you talk, that should be considered grammar. No need of worry about grammar. So when you speak the more and more, what will happen? So the grammatical rules are synchronized, because so whatever you talk, that should be considered grammar. No need of worry about grammar, because you have to practice more and more. And so when you're educated, you can go through some grammatical knowledge, because if you know the grammatical knowledge about a language, then you can apply the same rules and regulations in different way. So to learn other language, okay. So one can learn a language with the help of the grammatical knowledge. So next, last but not least, this is very important. It should be in the first. Actually, the environment is very important. So because how the small kids and who doesn't know how to write ABC or small, the fundamental letters, they could speak that mother tongue very because of the environment. So when you make a conducive atmosphere, when you are in an environment that in that language, you can learn, anyone can learn, because learning a language doesn't depend upon your intellectual. It depends upon your habit, it depends upon your imitation, it depends upon your reputation, it depends upon your need based, it depends upon the opportunity, it depends upon the nurture your nature towards learning a language. And this is the words and what we call the interaction with through the interaction we can one can learn a language. So all these things and I think it may be helpful those who want to learn a language. So this is the first and foremost thing. Without listening, nothing will happen. So listening is very, very important. That's the God has given 2 years. We have to listen more and more. So we have to give, we have to develop our big ears. That means we have to listen more so that any language learning will be taken place. So that's reason. And listening is very, very important. Also the environment, that's very important. And also the most important, acquisition. We have to acquire. That means we have to learn subconsciously. We have to learn subconscious competence. So without grammar, without anything, how one the native speaker speaks very accurately? Because of, so inherently and subconsciously he learns everything. So the type of environment must be there to acquire a language, and for that you have to listen, and basing on your needs and grabbing all the opportunity and using up the good words in a best words in the best place, and by attending the meetings and with the grammatical knowledge, so one can excellent efficient user of a language. So that these are the things I want to mention about language. So I wanted to create a small what we can, it may be acronym, or it may be expansion, or it may be expanding something about so I have taken the language, the word, the letters. So by taking the language word, by using all the letters, I try to expand on how language learning take place. So that's reason I try to my level best. I think even though while I'm transjecting my ideas regarding the topic, because I haven't prepared so much, because I haven't taken any notes from anywhere, and I try to add nature as my my nature, like nature. So that's reason. So while I'm talking, while I'm teaching, while I'm just my information, some grammatical or mistakes may be corrupt, might have been corrupt, and don't mind. And because we are not native speakers, English is not our mother tongue. Even though we're trying to learn something, trying to enhance our language fluency, language learning. Okay, thank you for just watching my video, and if you like, please share and subscribe. If you don't like, please leave it. And okay, thank you for watching my channel. Thank you very much.